Are you ready, Honourable Minister? Honourable Members, Head 56, Ministry of the People and Social Development, 4,139,334,641. I will now invite the Honourable Minister of State in the Ministry of the People and Social Development to make a brief opening statement for no more than 5 minutes. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I applaud our line minister, Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for Superior for her direction and control of the Ministry of the People and Social Development. And allow me to introduce our hard-working staff here, beginning with our PS, Mr. Simeon Yearwood, DPS Angela Edwards, DPS Ethlyn John, CTO Dennis Williams, Director Social Welfare Vijay Ganga Prasad, Director People's Issues Asaf Ghani, Project Manager and Project Implementation Unit Farida Ali, Senior Human Resource Officer Lisanne Sibaran, Director Human Resources Melanie Noel, Design and Drafting Technician Kyla Jeanville, Research Officer Terry Herrera, Coordinator NGO Unit Anne-Marie Kwame Alleyne, and I want to say congratulations. I want to also applaud the hard work of all of our members of staff in the Ministry of the People and Social Development. The Ministry of the People and Social Development is a core social sector ministry with responsibility for coordinating the implementation of government's social and human development objectives. In 2010, the People's Partnership Government developed a framework which identified 7 interconnected pillars for sustainable development. The Ministry of the People and Social Development has identified 4 pillars which guide our work. Pillar 1, people-centered development. MPSD, our key focus is human and social development, disability affairs, HIV/AIDS sensitization, aging initiatives, social displacement initiatives, citizens' resolution. Pillar 2, poverty eradication and social justice. MPSD's key focus, social safety networks, sustainable development, micro-enterprise development, social assistance, public welfare and workforce, URP social, research. Pillar 3, national and personal security through probation services. Pillar 6, good governance, people participation, outreaches, direct effect and direct impact, main people's issues resolution coordinating unit, regional human and social development councils. Our various initiatives are further informed by the government's strategic approach to break the cycle of poverty, excuse me, enable self-sufficiency and create opportunities for wealth generation, as outlined in the medium-term policy framework document. Within this framework, poverty reduction and human capital development have been identified as part of our 5 strategic priorities to be pursued over the period 2011 to 2014. This strategic priority serves as the impetus behind the activities of the MPSD. In keeping with the aforementioned pillars, the Ministry has mandated with the responsibility of addressing the social challenges of poverty, social inequality, and social exclusion. Particular emphasis is placed on developing and executing programs and services that protect and assist vulnerable and marginalized groups in society, such as persons with disabilities, the elderly, the poor and indigent, the socially displaced, ex-prisoners, deportees, and persons living with HIV/AIDS. Guided by the tenets, helping, empowering, and transforming lives, the ministry seeks to empower its clientele through rehabilitative and skill enhancement initiatives which promote human prosperity in the context of sustainable development. The MPSD is also responsible for developing, coordinating, monitoring, and evaluating social sector policies and programs to ensure sustainability, cultural relevance, and economic viability. Moreover, the major functions of the Ministry of the People and Social Development are to serve as a central coordinated body for the social sector, deliver social services, facilitate networking, make recommendations for the effective functioning of the social sector, facilitate decentralization, develop systems, strategies, and programs, identify gaps, foster good governance, monitor regional and international conventions, and serve as a coordinating body to address people's issues. I thank you.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $4,139,334,641 for Head 56, the Ministry of the People and Social Development, stand part of the schedule. Honourable members, the sum of $4,139,334,641 for Head 56, the Ministry of the People and Social Development, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure and the draft estimates of development program. Subhead 01, personal expenditure. Item 1, general administration. I recognize Honourable Member for Diego Martin Central.
Mr. Speaker, the name of this ministry was changed to People and Social Development, and my first line of question is with regard to the people aspect under salaries and cost of living allowance. Is there a specific division, desk, or unit related to people's resolution in this ministry? If so, what is the breakdown? I'd like a breakdown of the staffing of such a division, unit, or desk with respect to establishment positions and with respect to contract positions specific to this people unit. Secondly, under 1.4, remuneration of cabinet-appointed committees, I would like a list of such committees under the ministry at this time. I'd like a specification of the membership of these committees, the date when they were appointed, and the date of expiry of such committees.
The Honourable Minister of Social Development.
Mr. Speaker, it's a very complex question. I think we will have to supply that data in writing after.
All right, let's go on to the next item. We go to item 4, probation services. We go to item 5.
Hold on. Mr. Speaker.
Are you on social probation
Yes,
services?
I'm seeing division of aging before probation services.
Oh, just now.
I think you skipped that.
Hold on.
At the bottom of page 271.
Oh, yes, you're correct. Division of aging.
Yes, so
yes, my apologies.
That's okay.
Yes.
We're learning.
I recognize the Honourable Member for Diego Martin Central.
Yes, Chairman. There's a saying. Anyway, under division of aging, I would like a listing, a breakdown of the staff at the division of aging at this time. I'm not seeing any allocation here with respect to the division of aging. I would like information with respect to the situational analysis on the accessibility of government buildings, which this division should be able to provide to the committee.
The Honourable Minister.
Please repeat the question.
Well, it wasn't that complex. The breakdown of the staffing at the division of aging at this time, establishment and contract positions, and a report on the situational analysis of accessibility of government buildings.
The Honourable Minister.
If it could be provided.
Could you provide those things?
We could provide those things.
All right, we go to item 4, probation services. Item 5, social welfare. I recognize the Honourable Member for Diego Martin Northeast.
005, social welfare.
Social welfare.
Could the Minister tell us what is the total number on your establishment of social workers in this division? How many vacancies you have, and what is being done to fill these vacancies?
The Honourable Minister, how many social workers do you have in this division?
How many vacancies?
How many vacancies there are?
And what's being done to fill the vacancies?
And what is being done to fill those vacancies?
We have 75 workers on the establishment and 25 on contract. What's this one?
How many social workers? Is a specific type of person?
Yes.
How many social workers do
We have 75 on the
How
establishment.
many vacancies?
25 on contract. You
How
have
many
documented it.
vacancies?
So we have 25 live bodies on the establishment, and you have 25 on contract. So you have 100 in all.
Yes.
How many vacancies do we have?
20 vacancies.
And what's being done to fill these vacancies?
And what is being done to fill those vacancies?
We are awaiting Service Commission's intervention again. We are ready to advertise, but we are awaiting our instructions from Service Commissions.
Okay, could you not fill these vacancies through contract employment? You said you have 25 social workers on contract. Could you not fill them through contract employment?
Honourable Minister?
We are filling these vacancies on contract, of contract workers. We are filling those. We are working on that.
No, the 20 vacancies that you have, could
Yes.
you not, since Service Commission is taking its time, dragging its feet, whatever, could you
Well-
not fill those vacancies with contract employees?
Yes, but I don't want to throw that into
You-
Service Commissions. We are working on filling our contract workers, and we are working with Service Commissions. We're waiting on that.
I see I will not get a proper answer.
No.
but, Mr. Speaker, hold on.
Wait, hold on. Honourable Minister, Vernella.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently, like, I had to call Vernella to get your attention. Yeah. I think what the honourable member is asking is whether those 25 vacancies, can you tamper with those things in terms of doing it on contract, or do you have to wait on the Public Service Commission? I think that's the question that you're asking.
Excellent. But they should do that. That's what I
Okay,
asked.
the vacancies exist. I have to talk to my people, you know. The
Yes.
vacancies exist. The Service Commissions will fill them. They are not, we don't have to fill them. We cannot fill them.
Right.
I'm saying,
That is the point.
while you're waiting on them, can you
Yes.
not create contract positions and recruit people? Where did those 25 contract people come from?
Yes, we can
Okay, fine.
create, but we have not created any.
Is the absence of this significant number of social workers,
Yes.
from what you're telling me, about 30% of your establishment, about that is vacant?
Yes.
The absence of these social workers, is it affecting your
Well-
ability to deliver?
Necessarily, yes, it is. But this is why we're working so
Well, I
diligently.
urge you to see if you could fill them on contract.
All right, we go to subhead 2, goods and services.
Thank you.
We go to item 1, general administration. I recognize Aruka Maloney, Diego Martin Northeast, Diego Martin Central. Aruka Maloney and Lavendale West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sub-item 16 under contract employment.
Sub-item 16 under contract employment.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Could the minister indicate to us the number of staff on contract, and if she can provide a breakdown by unit or department, the number of vacancies by unit or department as well?
We will supply the details in writing.
I recognize Diego Martin Central and then Diego Martin Northeast and then Lavendale West.
Chairman, I'm seeing under 21, sub-item 21, repairs and maintenance of buildings has gone down by 450,000. But the government very recently made an announcement of a move of this ministry to a building on Alexandra Street. I would want confirmation from the minister as to the prospective date of that move. And looking at line items 21, 37, 43, and several others, would the ministry now have to make variation to these requests, or do these allocations take into account that proposed move, which was just recently announced to the public?
We expect to move on November 1st, and just let me consult with my PS to give you that further information.
You expect to move on November the 1st?
We expect to move on November the 1st.
Part of the
Yes.
question, yes.
And we have, of course, the allocations will go down because we are being assisted in this by the Ministry of Housing, and we expect to spend much less than we
All right, let me just be clear on the question because I don't think you're clear on the answer. When these requests were made of the Ministry of Finance, was the ministry then aware of and planning for this specific move of headquarters, or were these requests made in the absence of that knowledge?
The requests were made after that.
All right, I recognize the member for the Gomata Northeast and then Laventille West.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, did the minister indicate that she would give a breakdown of the item 16, contract employment?
Yes.
Okay. Could the minister explain why, well, firstly, explain what is short-term employment, which is item 22. What is that? What are the terms and conditions associated with this short-term employment? And could the minister explain why you're spending such a huge sum of money, $23 million on short-term employment?
The Honourable Minister.
To meet its social and human development objectives, we have to, and to alleviate some of the social issues identified in our strategic plan, we have had to employ that number of persons on short-term employment in order to get our work done in the ministry.
What does short-term employment mean? 3 months, 6 months, 1 month? What is that? 2 days? What is it? What does short-term mean? I didn't ask you. Mr. Chairman, could you control this meeting, please?
Yes, I am controlling it at the same time. I'm enjoying myself. Yes.
Minister Toppin.
Yes, I know.
Short-term for revolving employment is in specific government departments where each employee's term does not exceed 6 months.
6 months, okay. And what sort of duties do these people have? What are they doing?
You can have that in writing.
Okay, no
we have so many.
All right, I recognize the Honourable Member for Laventille West.
Chair, under item 1616,
Yes.
the minister made mention of a pillar called URP Social Pillar. Can the minister indicate whether or not the employees under that URP Social Pillar comes under this this heading of 16?
What heading are you on now?
16 contract.
Contract employment. I identified URP Social as a pillar. I did not.
Yes,
No, I did not
in your
identify.
5 minutes.
URP Social is not a pillar. Pillars, I told you, the pillar 1, people-centered development. Pillar 2, poverty eradication and social justice. Pillar 3, national and personal security. Pillar 6, good governance, people participation.
Where did you get that from? So let's go to item 3, division of aging. Then we go to item 4, probation services. Did the Commanding Central they like to raise?
Yes, Division of Aging.
Yes.
2 questions.
Yes.
The current location of the Division of Aging.
Yes.
The landlord associated with this rent and lease.
Yes, the Honourable.
The date and the date of the rent and lease of such accommodation. That's question number 1. That's a specific request that the ministry can provide. On line item 16, contract employment. Chairman, I'm receiving unwanted compliments from Kuvasa.
Yes.
In the revised estimates of 2014, I'm seeing no allocation for contract employment under the Division of Aging. For 2015, I'm seeing a request for $1.4 million. Can the minister explain this?
The Honourable
The
Minister.
Division of Aging is at Answer McCall Building. That's the first part of your question on Independence Square. That's the first part of your question. Let me get some clarification on that second part of the question.
Would you like me to repeat it?
No, I could repeat that for you.
No, but if there's no increase in the estimate, then you have enough money.
He wants to know why there's no allocation under the particular for contract.
No, I'm not confused at all.
She needs no
I'm
help
not
from
confused
you.
at all. I just need
Yes.
to know exactly what he wants.
Otherwise,
to know,
we're going to ask her to come across
I
here.
am just not just talking to him, I'm talking to the whole nation and everybody who's watching. So I
Yes.
have to make sure that people are clear. If you
Yes.
ask a question that has many parts to it, maybe I should be answering it accordingly.
Yes.
I don't want to give you any information that
You're
is
free
not
to answer.
correct.
Yes, yes.
Yes? Thank you for your patience. Where are we? Where?
Forbearance.
Okay, item 16, contract employment. Tell me the question again.
No.
Tell me the question again.
Okay, you want to hear it from me or the chairman? Okay, chairman, maybe I should.
Tell me the question again, because you are reading it. I am listening.
Yes,
Well, I'm not reading
yes.
it, but I hear you.
Yes.
Let's
all right.
try.
The Honourable
Yes.
Member for the Guatemalan Central,
Yes.
could you repeat?
Under sub-item
Please,
16, Honourable Minister of State.
Yes.
Contract employment within the Division of Aging. Sorry, slower. I'm looking at the revised estimates for 2014, and there was no figure entered whatsoever. So there's a blank for 2014.
So there
for
was
2015,
so there was no need then for us to ask for any more money.
For
because we had enough.
2015,
Yes.
there's an estimate of $1.4 million. I would like an explanation for what transpired within the Division of Aging over the last year, where there was no contract employment, and now $1.4 million is
We
being
expect
requested.
to hire inspectors and other members, board members, who will be on board in 2015.
The board members fall under contract
We have
employment, Minister.
inspectors who will be on board in 2015. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, on board, not a board of directors. On board.
On-board member.
Well, employed then, employed. All right, let's go on to item 4, probation services. We go to, no, I think I recognize the Honourable Member for Chaguanas West.
Questions. First of all, security services under 4.3 has increased by 20% to 9.6 million. Page 273, number 43.
It increased what?
It has increased by 20% to 9.6 million. What caused this phenomenal increase?
No, we are now in the Division of Aging, you know.
No,
We have bypassed general
I had my
administration.
40 times, sir.
So you're back to general administration?
No, sir, I am on page 273.
He's in the Division of Aging.
I am here.
No, what page are you on, sir?
273, sir.
He's in the Division of Aging.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for 273.
What page? 273.
So you have gone back to general administration.
So forget it. Sorry, forget it.
He's in the Division of Aging.
You don't want to answer the question on security services?
Security.
Any? The Honourable Member is asking if you can explain that situation. From 8.1, from 8.2 to 9.6, what is accountable for that increase?
What page is that?
That is on page 273. The ID item is on security services.
Let me get to this, security services, okay.
You can answer that? Or you want to provide the information in writing?
We'll provide the information in
Right.
writing.
Secondly,
Yes.
a former minister told us that there are 3 URPs. One is social, one is,
What is that in?
whatever you on this, but one is social, URP social. What is URP social in context of your ministry?
No, but where is that in terms of this item?
The whole ministry, sir.
No, that's a general question. We have to deal with what is before us. We can't deal with that overall. Let's go on to item 4, probation services. I recognize Aruka Maloney and the Honourable Member for the Guatemalan Central.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to sub-item 01, rent or lease of office accommodation and storage. Could the Minister indicate what has accounted for such a large allocation for rent or lease of office accommodation in 2015 as compared to 2014 when $588,430 was provided, but this year we have a $2 million plus allocation.
What page and what number?
Page 274. We are looking on page 274. Sub-item 08.
Did the Minister hear the question?
Yes, we have the question here. Minister, you could answer.
but I don't know where it is.
Hey, Chairman of the Cabal.
We are moving to new offices. At offices, we have to have more money to outfit, to do the networking. We have to have more money. That
So
is
would probation
summer.
also be moving to Alexander, please?
No.
The Honourable Member for Tico Martin Central.
Well, a perfect segue. What divisions will be accommodated at number 1 Alexandra Street? Could you provide a listing of the divisions that will be so accommodated? Secondly, with respect to line item 16, contract employment, again, there was no provision in 2014, no drawdown from the figures in front of us for contract employment under probation, but there's a request. It seems for several of these divisions, there's going to be a surge of contract employment for the year 2015. With the agent, you said it was to hire inspectors. What is the reason for this surge in the probation services division?
We are moving to 1 Alexandra Place, but I will provide that in writing for you, what divisions will move to 1 Alexandra Place. The surge for probation, we have community service officers were paid by the Ministry of Justice for fiscal 2014. In 15, they will be paid by the Ministry of the People and Social Development, and that includes NIS payments.
All right.
Well, you know, I want the minister to verify and maybe repeat that answer, because I'm seeing an estimate made under this ministry for 2014. So if she's saying it was being paid from another ministry, I don't understand why this ministry would have made the request. The fact is there was no revised estimate which suggests that there was no expenditure. So I'm questioning the veracity of that response.
Well, the probation office was moved to the Ministry of the People and Social Development from the Ministry of Justice. At that time, the Ministry of Justice was paying salaries. The MPSD will now have to pay those
Well,
salaries.
that doesn't explain why social development
All
made
right.
a request of 1.4
All right, the
million.
Honourable Minister has explained to the best of her ability. We go to item 4, probation. We continue. Item 5, social welfare. Item 8, disability affairs unit. I recognize Laventil West, Aruka Maloney.
Social welfare.
Yes.
Item number 2022, which is on page 276.
Right.
Short-term employment. Mr. Speaker, again, I'm asking, with respect to the URP social, I would like to know, Mr. Speaker, if those employees are hired under this subheading, how many employees are under that particular program, and exactly what that program does within the Ministry of the People.
Yes, the Honourable Minister.
URP Social, we do direct construct, we do Project Runway 100. Do I explain what direct construct is?
No. Minister,
We do Project Runway.
Minister, please. I think all the Honourable Member is asking is whether these workers' short-term employment, whether URP social, whether persons are employed, right, on short-term contract, are they engaged under URP social? I think that is the question I get him to be asking.
Is that,
In addition to exactly
do.
what that the department
Yes,
is
what
all
they do.
about, what they do.
And what the department does.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that department is paid by the Ministry of Labour, Ministry of Works. It's paid by the Ministry of Works. And let me get my advice clear. The labor comes from the Ministry of Labor, but the Ministry of the People pays those workers.
Ministry of the
People, our ministry pays them.
pays these
Yes.
workers. Under what? Under the same 922?
That's under line 22.
All right, well, let's go to item 8. We have Lebre and Aruka Maloney.
23.
Yes?
2013, 8 million, 2014, 7 million. I'll be curious. Can you provide us with a breakdown of the fees that have been paid? What it's for? And could you tell us who are the beneficiaries?
What are these fees about? The honourable member is asking, and if you could provide a breakdown. You want to tell us what these fees are about? Or you don't have the information now?
We will provide that information in writing. sir.
And we also need to know who are the attorneys that will benefit from this thing.
Well, whether attorneys are involved, and if you could provide a listing of the attorneys, okay? I recognize the honourable member for Aruka Maloney.
Mr. Chair, I am on item 008, Disability Affairs Unit, sub-item 66, hosting of conferences, seminars, and other functions. And I would like to find out from the minister whether or not $5,000 is adequate for the Disability Affairs Unit, particularly since they have a heavy mandate with reference to sensitizing the general public about the need to provide access to the disabled in terms of accessing public buildings, private buildings, the importance of employing them, and as well as providing equal access in across the board for these individuals. $5,000 is woefully inadequate.
Sub-item 66, under Disability Affairs.
Yeah.
Or unit.
This item, Mr. Chairman, this item caters for hosting of conferences and seminars in Trinidad and Tobago, as agreed by Cabinet, of visiting foreign heads and other dignitaries, programs for excellent service, customer care, and dependability. And that's...
No, it's 5,000. No,
I know,
what the member is asking is why 5,000?
I know. $5,000 is projected for the spend because we have some... we have agencies that support us in these.
Okay. Yes? Member for Tegumatin Central?
Yes, a short follow-up, because I think the further question to my colleague would be then, with respect to conferences that are not for foreign guests or officials, but are targeting the local disabled population, where is the funding for those, which would be the primary responsibility of the division, the Disability Affairs Unit? We're not seeing such funding.
The Honourable Minister.
I'm advised that comes under general administration, sir.
All right, could we go on to subhead 03, minor equipment purchases, item 1, general administration, item 3, division of aging, item 4, probation services, item 5, social welfare, item 8, disability affairs unit. We go to subhead 04, current transfer and subsidies. I reckon we go to item 5, non-profit institutions. The Honourable Member for Tegumatin Northeast, Tegumatin Central, Aruka Maloney, and Port of Spain South. Did I miss you first? Were you first? Okay, well, you'll come last. Continue, Honourable Member.
Could the Minister explain what has happened to the allocations for St. Vincent de Paul, Cheshire Foundation Home, Cheston Heart Association, Red Cross, Coterie of Social Workers, Legion of Commonwealth Ex-Service, Goodwill Industries, Healthcare and Human, International Institute, Family Planning, St. Vincent de Paul by 2, and and there are a whole bunch of others, Lifetime Limited, Disabled Persons Rebirth House, Hope Center, etc. And if all of these things are now subsumed in non-profit institutions, Could we get a breakdown of the expenditure in 2014, 29 million in non-profit? A breakdown of the allocations for 2015 to make up the 20 million? And an explanation why in a $64 billion budget you have cut the allocations for places like the Red Cross, the Cheshire Foundation, the St. Vincent de Paul, the Rape Crisis Center. Why you have cut the allocation by $9 million in 2015 in a $64 billion budget?
The Honourable Minister.
Yes. Should I list all of the ones above? Autism Services of Trinidad and Tobago, Support South Support Group, Cheshire Disability Services, Goodwill Industries of the West Indies, International Institute of Healthcare and Human Development, National Center for Persons with Disabilities, T&T Association for the Hearing Impaired, Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare Association, Trinidad and Tobago Chapter of Disabled Persons International, Visionary Learning Center.
Honourable Minister, Honourable
Yes.
Minister, are you repeating what we have before us? No, Honourable Minister, I think what the Honourable Member wanted is if he could get a breakdown.
We have to give him that in writing.
Yeah, and then the second question he asked is why did we reduce?
Allocation being cut by $9 million in a $64 billion budget? What you cutting Red Cross and all of them people for? 64 billion you're cutting Red Cross, Rape Crisis Center. Why?
Yeah. Could you put those things in writing as to what is the
Yes.
justification for this?
Yes.
Cut from 29
to 20.
to 20. I think that is what the Honourable Member is
$9.5
asking.
million reduction.
We will put it in writing.
Okay.
All right, let's go to item 7. No, we have more people.
Chairman,
Yes, we go to the Honourable Member for Diego Martin Central, then St. Joseph.
no, I did not say.
All right, Diego Martin
Yes.
Central, then Maloney. Then for the Spain South.
Aruka Maloney. Thank you, Chairman. Two specific questions. I concur on the request for a breakdown. During the budget debate, the issue of the Family Planning Association was raised, and I'm asking if the ministry is now minded to program an increase in subvention for the Family Planning Association. On line item 38, Families in Action, this NGO, Honourable Minister of State, has been identified as one of 2 partners in the National Parenting Program. I am asking for details on the scope of works, budget, and contract details on the arrangement between Families in Action and the Ministry of the People and Social Development. The same would apply to the other partner in the National Parenting Program, which is the University of the Southern Caribbean. Written details with respect to the scope of works, budget, and details of the contract of those 2 non-profit institutions.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we will provide all of that information in writing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to find out from the Minister whether Transform Life Ministries received a subvention from the Ministry of the People and Social Development, and if the answer to my question is yes, why was the subvention stopped?
The Honourable Minister.
They don't receive a subvention from the Ministry of the People and Social Development.
Subvention stopped?
We do not give a subvention, so it couldn't be stopped. They do not receive a subvention.
Port of Spain South, I recognize Port of Spain South.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Minister, are you aware that there's a center called the Brother Bowen Center, straight to the top of St. Paul Street? They do a lot of community work. I'm wondering why they are not listed here.
We are not aware of that center. I am not aware of that center.
Well, you put it in writing, the Honourable Member for Port of Spain South.
Yes.
Okay? We are dealing with item 7, households. Then we're dealing with item 9, other transfers. Households, Diego Martin Central, Aruka Maloney.
Thank you, Chairman. 3 questions. Assistance to national heroes, very important area, has been decreased by almost $500,000. I'd like an explanation for that. I don't think we lost that many during the year.
Right.
Secondly, urgent temporary assistance. This has been identified as a vital area of the ministry to provide fairly swift relief in cases of desperation. That has also been slashed by more than half, decreased by 25 million. I'd like an explanation for that. And well, I'd like those two answered before my third and final question under this.
The Honourable Minister.
We will respond in writing to that one.
Yes, and what's your third and final
Third
question?
and final.
You write it.
Line item 22, relief for underprivileged newborn. That's a new sub-item, and I have some specific questions to the ministry. How will this program of relief for underprivileged newborns be administered specifically? Is there an appeal process? And could you provide the details of such an appeal process if a mother or parent is not provided with the so-called grant? Could you identify whether there is specific staffing identified to support this $120 million program? And could you provide the details of that staffing, or are existing staff expected to manage this program? Is there any specific training planned to enable the administration of this program? If so, who is providing said training? What are the procedures, and is there a procedural manual to support the implementation of this program, which I believe is due to commence in 6 or so days' time? There is also a question that I have with respect to the possibility of fathers as well as mothers accessing this particular grant. How will that be monitored to avoid overlap or duplication? What are the monitoring and evaluation parameters that have been outlined to ensure accountability and transparency in this process? If a mother has 2 babies in the same year, will she be accessing 2 grants for each baby or 1 grant for each baby? Is there any decision by the ministry? I made a recommendation in the budget debate with respect to drug and alcohol testing of proposed recipients for this grant. Is that being considered by the ministry at this time for this $120 million program or any other program within the Ministry of the People and Social Development? Thank you, Chairman.
Let me give you an overview of that, so that if I miss out any of what you need to know, we will provide it in writing. But let me give you an overview of the relief for underprivileged newborns. The ministry will continue its goal of reducing the number of persons living below the poverty line. I'm telling you all of that. The Baby Care and Assistant Initiative will be introduced for 1 year in the first instance, whereby parents and primary caregivers with an infant 0 to 12 months born between the periods October 1st, 2014 to September 30th, 2015, earning a combined monthly income of $3,000.
Chairman, the questions were very specific, and I think we're getting a bit of a speech, which I appreciate. But
I'm giving you the content is in what I am telling you. You want me to say it? Households under $3,000. Mr. Chairman, can you ask me the question and say how I must answer it?
No.
I am giving him details.
Yeah. Remember, the Honourable Minister has 5 minutes to respond, and she's entitled to her 5 minutes. So could you continue?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Households earning a combined monthly income of $3,000 can qualify for assistance valued at $500 per month. The grant will assist the parents or guardians to adequately provide for the nutritional requirements and care for the infant. Recipients of the grant are required to enter into a social contract with the Ministry of the People and Social Development to participate in the ministry's development program. Rights of individuals to social and economic security, universal prosperity, rise up. The program is a holistic approach to poverty alleviation, which takes into consideration conditions that confine the family's efforts to move out of poverty. It provides families in extreme poverty with access to critical services, linking them and facilitating their access to and benefit from relevant to their needs. It seeks to empower the household to improve its quality of life in 8 dimensions: health, education, family dynamics, housing, personal identification, safety and security, income, employment. They are required to attend, the expectant mothers, attend postnatal visits at health facilities as prescribed by the attending medical practitioner. They are required to attend parenting outreach workshops conducted by Serval. They are expected to attend family planning sessions and to attend financial literacy sessions. The sum of 120 million is allocated under the vote relief for the underprivileged newborn, head 56722, for this initiative. We can give you the details in writing so that you will, and I'm speaking again, Mr. Chairman, I'm speaking to the whole nation. People want to know about this, and I have provided the details as we have them now.
The Honourable Member for Ruka Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I am going to sub-item 17, the Targeted Conditional Cash Transfer Program. Based on the information provided by the ministry, they are telling us that $2 million is allocated for this program for 2015. The Minister of Finance, during the Standing Finance Committee, indicated to us that $264 million was allocated to the food support program, and this money is utilized by the Ministry of the People and Social Development. I'd like to find out exactly how much of the $264 million is utilized on a yearly basis, and if they can tell us the total expenditure of the food card program for the year 2014. And I also want to ask about 21, Mr. Speaker, the People's Card.
Well, let's answer first, and then you come in 21 after. The Honourable Minister.
We will provide those details in writing.
All right. 21, please.
Sub-item 21, the People's Card. What is the People's Card? And what was $21 million spent on in 2014? And what will $12 million be spent on in 2015? And what is the difference between the People's Card and the Targeted Conditional Cash Transfer Program?
The Honourable Minister.
The cash transfer program has in effect now, as it is in effect now, has a card that we use with the for the people who are on the 2-year long term and a temporary assistance card. We are introducing a biometric card that we call the People's Card, which will facilitate all of the other, what do you call those? All of the other cash transfers that we make to our clients, whether it be disability grant, pension grant, whether it be school books assistance, whether it be for the people who have cerebral palsy, the mothers of children with cerebral palsy. We are using a card that gives you access to all of the areas in which you are accessing money from the Ministry of the People and Social Development. That card will carry data that will prevent fraud. We expect it will carry data that will prevent double dipping of people coming for one or the other grant, dipping in our coffers and also dipping in places like Ministry of Health. It will really streamline how we do business.
Chairman? To clarify, because the minister is indicating that the People's Card under 21 is a proposed program in design now. Is that right?
Well, it should be in place in another few days.
Right, in a few days.
Yes.
But I'm seeing 21 million expended, 22 million in 2014 under that program. And under the TT, the Targeted Conditional Cash Transfer Program, I'm only seeing $2 million expended and $2 million allocated. So I just want to be clear as to which of these line items is providing that household nutritional support, which persons refer to as the card or the TT card at this time. If the latter is a proposed program, the People's Card under 21, and the former is the targeted conditional cash transfer program. That's not clear at all from her answer. And the follow-up question is, I would like itemized between the 2-year card and the temporary card. What has been the expenditure for 2014 for each segmented, and what is the proposed expenditure for each in 2015 fiscal between the 2-year card and the temporary card?
The Honourable Minister.
My advice here is that we will have to provide that in writing.
The Honourable Member for Port of Spain South.
Just a clarification, and then when we get down to that other section. Senior Citizens Grant of $2.8 billion. I'm seeing an increase of some 535,584,000 over 2014. Is this Senior Citizens Grant of $2.8 billion? Is this the same thing as the Senior Citizens Pension? Is it the same?
Yes, it is.
It is.
You're seeing an increase. We have an increase in our aging population. We also have an increase in the grant.
Well, I know, but I just want a clarification because I note that this government, took pains in saying it's no longer a grant, it is a pension, because a grant can be taken away at any time. So I was surprised to see the word grant here as opposed to pension.
Well, the word pension should be there. Perhaps you can replace it. Just replace the word.
You clarified it.
Thank you.
Okay. Subhead 06, current transfers, statutory boards, and
Yes.
similar bodies. Item 4, statutory bodies.
009.
Port of Spain South, yeah.
Other transfers. Minister, could you explain to me?
You want other transfers?
Yeah, on 009 to the bottom. To the bottom there, sir.
What page is that?
009.
What page is that?
02, National Social Development Program.
Okay.
Page 280.
Yeah.
Of
Yes.
some $33 million. What is that about?
This program is designed to improve the standard of living conditions of citizens in TNT and will provide basic infrastructure for essential services like house wiring, minor house repairs, water supply, electrification and lighting of community facilities and children's play parks.
Yeah, how do you access this?
We have a system of you apply. We have application forms at our various offices. We also have a means test by which we decide who is indigent, who should receive such a grant. Yeah, house repairs, yes.
House repairs.
Yes. And we have
Wiring of
officers.
homes also?
Yes, we have officers who do the assessments, and this is accessible to all of our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. It's something that people should know about. Yes.
Yes, the Honourable Member.
Could we get a breakdown or any brochure or any information you have on this program, on what's catered for? How does one access this facility? And also a breakdown of the expenditure in 2014. What was it spent on, and who are the beneficiaries of all of this money? Could there also be an explanation as to why you had an allocation of 80 million but only spent 32 million in 2014?
The Honourable Minister.
I'm advised that we will give you that in writing because it is extensive.
No problem, no problem.
All right, we go to subhead 06, current transfers to statutory boards and similar bodies. Item 4, statutory bodies, Aruka, Maloney.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Sub-item 42, the Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare Association. I am just registering my concern that the ministry has allocated an additional $78,000 to the Blind Welfare Association, considering the fact that there are numerous problems at that association that need to be rectified by the ministry, particularly with issues of accountability, transparency, the concerns about hiring procedures, and the fact that they have not submitted all their audited financial statements.
The Honourable Minister.
We are working with the Blind Welfare Association to ensure that best practices are exercised within their association and that they satisfy all of our needs. But in the meantime, we are supporting our blind and visually impaired people.
Follow-up, when last have you received audited accounts with respect to the blind welfare?
We will supply that information.
Honourable members, we go to subhead 09, Development Program, item 4, Social Infrastructure. Yes, the Honourable Member for Waterspoon South.
Yes, Minister, through you, Mr. Chair. Minister, I don't know if I'm asking this question under the right subhead 044, which speaks to the establishment of social displacement centres, Queen Street and Duncan Street. Now, I want not particularly this one, but I want to talk to the one to the bottom of Piccadilly Street. All right, just hanging over the East Dry River, the bottom there. That centre next to the car park, the multi-purpose car park. What is happening with that centre? Because I'm noticing there is no allocation for, you know, removal of those persons' displacement then, or shall I say reallocation is the word, of those persons from that awful place elsewhere. You know what I'm talking about, to the bottom of Piccadilly Street?
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell me what are your plans and where is the money allocated here for the reallocation of those persons from the bottom of Piccadilly Street?
The Honourable Minister.
Yes, that's the Center for Socially Displaced Persons at Riverside Plaza Car Park.
Riverside, that's it.
Yeah. The Street Dwellers Rehabilitation and Reintegration Project. We had requested 2 million. We actually did get an allocation of 4 million. And we have been given the ownership, control and management of the building by cabinet note. And we are removing street dwellers to that facility. We continue, it's a continuous process.
Minister,
Yes?
Minister, so I should be speaking to 096. That is the Development Center for Persons. Not that one. No, that's one with challenges. But no, which is the one should I talk to with respect to Riverside Plaza?
C112.
0112.
0112?
No.
0112.
C112.
Okay?
Okay.
Yes?
So what is the what is the problem
Recognize
there?
and then after.
Would you be relocating these persons?
We will be refurbishing that facility, and we continue to spend money refurbishing it. We had a 10 million allocated by cabinet as at 31st of October 2013, and we have been doing work on that. We continue to do that rehabilitation process, assessment and evaluation of residents, provision of meals, medical health screening with referrals, needs assessments, counseling, training to address job skills and occupational therapy, spiritual and physical health program, and other rehabilitation programs.
I hear you, Minister, but just one further question.
Yeah.
Do you think that $2 million is sufficient in a budget of $64.6 billion? Do you think that $2 million is sufficient to undertake this type of work you have to do?
Now remember that I said we had a cabinet note which gave us $10 million over a period of years. So we have been drawing down as the time goes by, and we continue to facilitate that throughout drawdowns. This year, this fiscal year, we will use $4 million on that.
The Honourable Member for the Martin West. And then
Two is what was requested for this year because we have ongoing works. We were allocated $4 million.
the Honourable Member for the Martin West, and then point 410.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And then St. Joseph.
Mr. Chairman, I have a few questions under 09004, and I'd like to ask them one by one so that I can get a clear answer from the Minister. I noticed, Mr. Chairman, that under 044, we spent on the establishment of social displacement centers, Queen and Duncan Street, $635,000 in 2013. In 2014, there was an estimate for $2 million And one would have been led to believe that this meant that persons who were benefiting from this would have anticipated an enhanced service. But then, when the revised estimate is reported to us, I see a dash. My interpretation of that dash is that none of the $2 million that was allocated by the Parliament in 2014 was spent. Could I get an explanation for that from this ministry, please?
The Honourable Minister.
Let me tell you about Queen Street Development Program. We have the development project under use of briefs and detailed specifications. We engage NIPDEC for consultancy services to prepare designs and tender documents. A letter of intent was signed between MPSD and NIPDEC to continue design services towards the completion of tender documents for refurbishment, construction of the building, and we are this year moving on to the completion of designs, completion of the tendering documents and refurbishment, and we are going on to our consultancy team to provide architectural and civil engineering.
Is it, Mr. Chairman, that all of that which was supposed to have been done for free in 2014, and that this ministry found it fit, or no payment claim was made on this ministry for any of all that work? How come there's no report of expenditure in 2014 on that work program? Or is it that all of that is an intention?
All of this work was done by the internal staff. All of this work was done by the internal staff. We have our designers, we have our technical outdoorsmen.
So the $2 million that was budgeted was just a flight of fantasy, which brings me to the other question. That being so, if there was no requirement to spend any of the $2 million in 2014, because it's being done in-house by in-house staff, what then is the basis for a provision of $1 million in 2015 on the same item?
The Honourable Minister.
I'm advised that we are using this to pay NIPDEC for to carry out the procurement process.
But I was just told that it was all being done in-house. And so the $2 million you had, you didn't have to spend any of it?
The procurement is different from the drawings and the designs and the planning.
So we pay none of the $2 million to do the work, and we pay $1 million to get the work done.
Oh, so when you say procurement,
I move on.
what items are you talking about?
I'm advised here the procurement and project management will cost us $1 million.
Mr.
Project
Chairman, I give up on that one. I go on to 048, Poverty Reduction Program. Again, we spent $832 million in 2013 on that. Then in 2014, we provisioned $2 million. We spent $200,000 of the $2 million in 2014. And for 2015, we make no provision. Could I have an explanation for that, please?
We'll give you that explanation in writing, sir.
Yes. You have any further questions? She said she'll provide in writing.
Mr. Chairman, I just start. 050, the food support program, conditional cash transfer. For a start, what aspect of this food card program falls on the development program?
Mr. Chairman, please tell me where he is. I am not sure where he is. What page?
141.
What page are you on?
141.
Let me help you. I'm on
So you have gone back?
I'm on page 141 of the development program under 09 sub 050.
050.
If you go to the development program on page 141, under the development program, head 09, subhead 050.
Right.
Yes.
Food support program, conditional cash transfer, namely food card.
Yes.
How is that a part of the development program? What is that money to be spent on?
How much money?
Well, we spent $280,000 in 2013.
I mean, yeah.
We budgeted $1 million in 2014, from which 125 was spent, 125,000.
125,000.
And we now have budgeted nothing in 2015. What exactly is that?
I'm advised that it was used to outfit the food card unit. So we do not need, we have already set that up, we do not need to spend any more money on that.
So the budgeting of $1 million.
For food card. It was for it was some
unit,
outfitting or
of
something.
the unit.
So I'm asking, what was, I'm being told it was to outfit
The unit.
the unit.
The office, yes.
So we had over budgeted by 10 times.
They didn't use all the money that they had.
I'm asking, it's a simple question. The estimate to do it was $1 million. It was done for 125,000. Is that what I'm being told? It's good news. Don't be afraid. And
You don't have to spend too much
Mr. Chairman, finally, I want to ask a question on 099,
to save money for the army.
Vision on Mission Development Program. This I consider to be a very useful private sector initiative driven by good intentions. In 2013, there was a program here which cost $2 million. And in 2014, we budgeted $1.9 million towards continuing that program. And in 2015, I see no allocation. Could I be told what happened with that program? Is the program of help there completed? And what was it? And why are we not assisting them in 2015?
We are closing off that project,
What was the project?
the Vision and Mission project. What we did, what they did.
What was the project? What did we spend the money on?
My advice is here, the Vision on Mission designs programs to provide adequate transitional housing, counseling, reintegration and rehabilitation with regard to returning nationals, deportees. Vision on Mission assists in finding employment, traveling expenses, expenses and accommodation. Additionally, services that Vision on Mission provides in Trinidad and Tobago, both inside the prisons, the ex-prisoners and deportees, continue to have significant positive impact on society in terms of the number of ex-prisoners and deportees whose lives have been transformed and who are now making a significant contribution to society. We are closing off the project and we have a facility at Wallerfield that has been refurbished and outfitted for its first intake of ex-prisoners and deportees. The formal opening is scheduled for later in October.
So this money was spent on physical support, a physical structure.
Yes.
And therefore there is no requirement for any further support from the structure.
Yes.
But support from the state goes to the program, Vision and Mission.
Yes.
And where is that money located?
Under recurrent.
Okay. I will.
Okay, I recognize point 410.
Very much. I have interest in 36, 76, and 96. So I'll take 76 first. The establishment of a social services center in Point Fortin, which you wanted to do in 2014 and you were not able to implement it. But in 2015, you've now projected to spend twice that amount. There's already a Ministry of the People in Point Fortin. What is this social services center about and where? What is it about and where is it going to be?
36, 96, and which other?
I'm dealing with 76 to make it easier on you.
76, establishment of social services center in Point Fortin.
Yes.
All right. I am advised here by our team. The property is at number 4 Furlong Street. It's 10,000 square feet approximately. It's an old structure in a state of disrepair, and the structure is beyond refurbishment. It's proposed that we demolish and erect a multi-story building to be constructed at a cost of $7 million. And this division proposes to accommodate the center. At this center, the divisions will be Social Welfare Unit, Family Services Center, Community Telecenter, Targeted Conditional Cash Transfer Program, Poverty Reduction Program, People's Issues Resolution Unit.
Okay, but you said 7 million. I'm seeing here provision for 1 million.
Well, incrementally, we will...
So you're building this over time?
Over time.
You couldn't build this in a few months?
Okay, we go to
we have to
doesn't-
conduct
it
some
doesn't make
studies,
sense.
some necessary feasibility studies, designs, you know. So we are taking incrementally.
All right, okay. 36, I said I had an interest in
Yes.
3 issues. The Substance Abuse Rehabilitation Center that is going to cost $2 million. Where is this?
Piparo?
That's the Piparo one, okay. And in your interest in the development center for persons with challenges, I realized in 2015 there's no estimate for this program.
Yes,
So is that discontinued?
That's the one at Carlson Field, you're 96, right?
Yes.
We have built a rehabilitation center, center for people with disabilities, has completed. We are doing work on the...
Where's that?
Carlson Field, Chaconas.
Okay.
We are doing work on the grounds, and we hope to get into that building soon enough, very soon.
So what types of persons, persons with challenges, what type of challenges you would be accommodating there?
Broadly, persons with disabilities, persons who are physically disabled.
To do what? To work,
We have-
children, what?
We have therapeutic services, we have life skill programs, we have socially interactive activities, we
Okay.
have a daycare center.
I recognize Avondale East Movement.
Spending money.
To number 102, Toco Home for Senior Citizens. I see there's a allocation of 1.5 million, 2014, and 2 million for estimated for 2015. I want to know, is this some special arrangement with this home? But before I get the answer, I think that I want to know if the ministry, what is the ministry doing about elderly homes? There has been some concerns concerning the dilapidated state of many homes for the elderly right across the country. And we feel that more money is needed. I saw elsewhere that there's some money allocated for elderly homes, but that really is not enough for the amount of elderly homes in Trinidad and Tobago. And I think that we need to take more care of our elderly. Some of them are not even being treated properly at home. So I feel that the ministry needs to look at this. But tell me about this one,
Right.
102.
Toco. The Honourable Minister.
The home, the elderly home for the elderly.
I recognize you.
Toco, is about to be launched, I could say. We have finished the building, it is complete. We are now looking at outfitting and finalizing, the space, as we need to have it for older persons who will come in on a daily basis, remain active. We have all the therapy, all the rehabilitative skills, training, and the medical assistance necessary here. What's happening is that we have legislation pending, which should be proclaimed, but we need to put amendments to our legislation. We're working with the Ministry of Gender Affairs through the Child Protection, through the Child Protection Task, not Child Protection, through the legislation that governs older persons and the abuse of older persons. We're working on those parts of the legislation which need to be amended so that we can enter into homes other than senior citizens' homes. We will be able to enter into the homes of the private homes if we discern that there's abuse somewhere. This initiative is also going to come with a lot of new staff, a lot of inspectors who will be going out to examine homes, and public and private homes, and all of this is tied in with the legislation that we are working on. When this is completed, then we will be able to go into move
I
into
just wanted to be clear on something.
I think you're right that we will need a whole lot of money.
Yeah, we need
but we have already done this money that we had was for the building, and now we are doing the outfitting.
Okay, this is a further, the same question, Mr. Chairman. I just want to be clear that I wanted to know if there are any plans to assist other homes in the country, because really most of them are in a bad state. And we feel that more money should be allocated to the senior citizens' homes.
Well, we are actually doing assessments of homes, and this is one of the reasons why we have to bring in more inspectors. We are actually doing the assessments, and we are putting in very stringent rules about physical structure, physical amenities, as well as the kind of care that people will be getting. And it will all be legislated. There are some very serious fines recommended, some very serious rewards and punishments. And we are going to do it and we welcome any ideas and any discussion.
There are 4 persons before you. Want to come in now? Doc, you want to come in now? Yes, please. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I 2 questions I want to put. I would like to put one through you to the Leader of Government Business. Given the specific nature of this problem and the good that it will do, could we go beyond the academic exercise of identifying shortcomings and ask the Leader of Government Business whether this committee could recommend and we make an amendment to improve the allocation to this particular head? What is provision there is just not enough for the nature of the problem. So I put that to the Leader of Government Business for an amendment to the number, and I move on to ask, I'd just like to go back a bit to 094. 094, Blind Welfare Association, and to ask the ministry what was the anticipated work program for which $4 million was allocated in 2014, and why is it showing that none of that money was spent as per the revised estimates? What did we set out to do there?
This money was requested to develop the user briefs and specifications for construction and refurbishment of an administrative center, academic cluster, dormitory cluster, and these works included the finalization of designs, to engage a contractor, to conduct preliminary studies, and to stake out the boundaries.
Was this project advanced in any way?
We have some issues with the board. Maybe we should give you that in writing. There were issues with the board, and there were issues with divisions, and which set of the, they had some
so as it stands
matters
now,
in court, because there are 2 different factions of that board that we have
it resulted in, we had $4 million to advance the project, and we weren't able to spend any of it because the project has moved.
Yes.
How are we addressing that problem?
Okay, when the court decides the matter.
Oh, it matters in court?
It matters in court.
Oh, okay.
When the court decides the matter,
all right,
we'll take it from there.
Diego Martin Central, and then St. Joseph, and the last is Aruka Maloney.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll try to keep the questions as simple as possible, maybe yes or no if when required. Line item 36, establishment of a substance abuse rehabilitation facility at Piparo. Very important project. I'm seeing $2 million for 2015. Can you clarify whether this is phase 2 of that development project commencing? If so, when was phase 1 completed? What is the reason for the delay between the completion of phase 1 and commencement of phase 2? And I'd like a breakdown of the proposed expenditure for 2015, that $2 million.
All right.
I have further questions. I'd like
no, well, ask your questions so she can take them down and then answer
well,
all.
she gets a little confused sometimes, but fair enough. I'll try. You'll take it now?
No, you are confusing. Okay. I am not getting confused.
Oh, I'm sorry if I've confused you. Do you want all in a lump?
Your technique in questioning is very confusing.
Well, that's not my fault, but would you like all the questions?
Yes, I am suggesting to bring all the questions.
Well, I'm just bearing her in mind. Okay, second question is with respect to the expansion of the community-based telecenters. Again, another program that was there before. What community-based telecenters were opened for 2014, and what are the locations of the proposed telecenters for the upcoming fiscal year? A very straightforward question. Third one is with regard to 092. HIV/AIDS coordinating program. What expansion or expenditure occurred under development program for $1 million in 2014, and why is there nothing for 2015 under the HIV/AIDS coordinating program? And then 106 adult daycare model what is this adult daycare model? Where is it being proposed? I see $500,000 was requested prior. None was expended, none is requested now. Could we just get an update on this adult daycare model? And finally, 107, governance service centers. What is this governance service centers? Where is it located? Are there any staff associated with it? And a breakdown of the $1 million requested. I'm not familiar with that particular heading.
The Honourable Minister.
Okay, we requested for Peparo, for the rehabilitation facility at Peparo, to commence refurbishment works as follows: for the clinical staff building, retaining wall at the kiosk building, a workshop building, toilets and closets, dormitories, and outfitting of a gym. And our main areas we are targeting to begin: toilets and closets, dormitories, and the gym. A note is being drafted and finalized to upgrade the facility in cabinet. The second one is the telecenters project. We requested 0.5 million, we got 0.5 million. We are finalizing cabinet approval to establish satellite telecenters in Couva, Tabaki, Talparo, and Princestown. Yes? The cost estimates are to procure equipment also for telecenters.
Nice list.
And
which were opened in 2014?
Which will open?
Which were opened? Which telecenters?
Telecenters opened in 2014, it was. Telecenters opened in 2014, and it was. Hold on.
Locations.
None were opened in 20. None was.
Okay, and Talparo is asking when his will be open, but he will have to ask that question directly.
2014 is not finished yet.
Yes. No, well, the fiscal year is.
Next one. HIV/AIDS coordinating program.
$1 million.
Requested the money for sensitization of the staff. It includes the awareness of HIV-related issues. It will assist participants to understand and address the stigma and discrimination associated with AIDS, and provide clients HIV-related information, which will impact their interactions with other persons. In 2015.
None in 2015. Okay.
The funds were transferred to recurrent.
And then the adult daycare model update and the governance service centers.
Okay, Cabinet by minute number 2580 of September 16, 2004, agreed inter alia to approve in principle the proposal for the design and development of a continuum of health and social support services for older persons. The components of the continuum include senior centers, meals on wheels, transport escort services, companion care, adult care, daycare centers, and assisted living facilities. In 2015, we proposed to complete our designs and obtain outline approval, finalize our designs, engage contractors, conduct preliminaries, and stake out our boundaries.
And that will be free because there's no allocation in 2015.
All right. Yeah, we go to St. Joseph, and then Aruka Maloney is the final one.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, this ministry is a quite important ministry, and I concur with Diego Martin West that the allocation should be varied. However, in an answer to line item subhead 09, sub 099, to the Honourable Member for Diego Martin West under Vision and Mission, unfortunately, the Minister's answers raised a number of other questions pertinent to St. Joseph, because this is located in the constituency of St. Joseph. I will ask one question, and depending on the answer, I may have no further questions, or vice versa. In 2013, there was a 2 million allocation, 2014, 1.9 million, roughly the same.
The minister said, if I am correct, this was for what, some sort of support? Was it technical support? Or institutional strengthening? Okay. What type of support was this $2 million grant and the same amount in 2 consecutive years meant for? Was it meant for technical support, for instance, institutional strengthening, corporate governance, or was it for operational expenses, example, food, training, rent? Was it to help with your physical location? Because, Speaker, I want to ask the question, did the management of Vision on a Mission know that this grant, subvention, whatever you want to call it, was going to be stopped in 2015? Further question, if it is going to be stopped in 2015, did they know it was going to be stopped? And then you further went on to state that your ministry will be conducting a similar program in some other part of the country. Is it that you are taking over Vision on a Mission by doing your own program, which I have no problem with? If that is the case, where does that leave Vision on a Mission?
The Honourable Minister. Yeah.
I'm advised that we will give you that in writing.
Okay, and then I go now to Aruka Maloney, and then we close off.
In other words, they don't know.
Mr. Chair, there are two items that I would like to look at. The first one is...
Aruka?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Where are we?
2 items, page 142. I'm looking at sub-item 112, the Street Dwellers Rehabilitation and Reintegration Project. I would like to know what percentage of this $2 million allocation is going to Transform Life Ministries, whether or not the ministry contracted with Transform Life Ministries to house street dwellers on its behalf, the number of street dwellers that the ministry has there, the cost of housing each street dweller, the total number of clients sent to the facility to date. I will also like to know how much money has been spent on renovating Transform Life Ministries to accommodate the street dwellers for reintegration and rehabilitation, and the overall amount of money paid to Transform Life Ministries to date by the ministry. And I'd also like the minister to indicate why those street dwellers were not sent to New Horizons, a facility that's owned by the ministry that can house 200 persons.
The Honourable Minister.
My advice here is that we will give you that answer in writing.
And then I recognize the Honourable Member for the Martin West and your good self. And we close off.
I'm just closing off, right?
Yes.
So I can raise, I have a question with respect to page 143, 032, under 005. Establishment of an integrated social enterprise management system. This is an item which has been on the budget for 2013, 4.3 million. 2014, 5 million. Revised downwards to 1.4 million. I would like to ask the ministry, since this expenditure was taking place on what's in effect of the management system, what accounted for the downward revision of the allocation, and why is the allocation now spiked up to $10 million? What is that for?
The Honourable Minister.
We'll also provide that information in writing.
Next question.
Mr. Chairman, let me ask another question. Is the minister saying that they're asking for $10 million and nobody knows what it's for?
No, I'm not saying that. I did not say nobody knows what it is for. I'm saying that I'm advised by the team here, by the PS and his team, that we will give you that information in writing.
And with respect to what happened in 2014, nobody can say what happened in 2014?
We can write and tell you what happened. We'll put it in writing. We'll give you an account.
Do you have a second question, Doc?
I'm stunned.
I know, but do you have a second question?
I'm done.
Let's go to the Honourable Member for point 40.
Page 142, number 108, Survey of Living Conditions, where you projected to spend 500,000, $500,000 in 2014, and that ballooned to 7 million. Quite a big amount. Is that survey completed? Has it been completed? And what was that survey about?
The Honourable Minister.
Cabinet by Minute 982 of December 5th, 2013, agreed to approve a revised budget of up to $8.2 million to facilitate the conduct of the survey of living conditions. The survey is proposed to be completed, was proposed to be completed in 12 months. The survey will assess the living conditions in Trinidad and Tobago according to socioeconomic indicators, including but not limited to health, housing, education, food security, recreation, and leisure. Poverty levels measured in terms of the line gap ratio and level. The survey itself has been completed. We conducted the fieldwork, we processed the data. We are now advertising for a consultancy that will analyze the data, and then we will drive our programs by what comes out of those analyses.
Further, could that data be made public at this stage? Can it be circulated to us?
It cannot be made public yet because we have to, our officers have to, our consultants will have to extrapolate on the data and present it properly to us.
Okay,
and
thank
we have
you.
to wait on that. Thank you very much.
Okay, honourable members, the question is that the sum of $4,139,334,641 for head 56, the Ministry of the People and Social Development, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The sum of $4,139,604. No, let me repeat. The sum of $4,139,334,641 for head 56, the Ministry of the People and Social Development, now stands part of the schedule. Thank you very much, Honourable Minister.
Procedurally, please. The variation that Diego Martin West had asked for, how do we deal with that?
What variation?
It's okay, Chair. Thank you.
I want to thank the Honourable Minister and her team for being here.